Boys, you have 3 minutes of practice remaining. Extra minute of stoppage time. Stoppage time. Football fans.
You're a little wet. It's a start. Again, hide and seek chooses the letters. Please make sure your match is across from each other. After you do your first game, just wait. We'll come down and help set up your screens for game 2. Ready for shot on 10, 7, 14, 15. 32 absolutely outstanding bowlers remain. Congratulations to each and every one of you getting this far. Colored bars are on your screens. Begin round 1 here. Double-Elimination match tonight. Good luck. Photo.
And a good morning. Live from Rio Rancho, New Mexico, Tenpins More is the bowling center, of course. You know the deal by now. BowlStreamTV. My name is Emil Williams Jr. The top 32 bowlers officially now have been decided after we had a one-game roll-off for the 32nd spot this morning. I'm going to take that off for the moment. We had a roll-off for the 32nd spot between Stephen Kurtz and Jacob Gill. Kurtz defeated Gill this morning 209 to 171. And here we are in our full 32-player bracket. I'm not sure if, I'll ask Jeff if the bracket is on bowljbt.com. I did post it last night to my story, the BowlStreamTV Facebook page story. And so you can see also the combined stats if you haven't seen that already. You can definitely check that out on bowljbt.com. The format for this round specifically, 2-game total pinfall matches across the bracket. Once this round is complete, and then of course there'll be winners and some losers. The losers or the contenders will move into, of course, the contenders bracket. Those particular matches will then go into a 1-game match format, while the winners bracket will continue on in a 2-game total pinfall format. So matches we have for you, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The defending champion, Dwayne Mellinger, is taking on Kyle Duster. Dwayne is the 7th seed. Kyle is the 26th seed. And Emily Eckhoff, the number 10 seed, is taking on the number 23 seed, John McIntyre. The winner, or sorry, the higher seed has choice of who starts, but really what lane and what letter they elected to be. The only rule here was, of course, the matches have to be opposed from each other on the scoreboard. So as you can see, Eckhoff and McIntyre are B and D on 5 and 6 respectively. Mellinger and Duster, A and C respectively, on 7 and 8. The number 2 seed, Dwayne Brown, is taking on the 31st seed in Keith Fung. And also on this pair, the number 15 seed, Tyler Albrecht, is taking on the 18th seed, Dylan Taylor. Then over on 9 and 10, the 5th seed, Kevin Jenkins, is taking on the 28th seed, Alex Harmon. And the 12th seed, Cortez Schenk. Man, did he make a move last night. He is taking on the 21st seed in Stefan Wood. So some interesting matchups across the board. Of course, Stu Williams is the number 1 overall seed at plus 122. He is taking on Steven Kurtz, who won the roll-off this morning. And boy, if you're Steven Kurtz, you already got a little bit of momentum. You bowled this morning, you got a game under your belt, had some practice, now practiced twice, of course. Might be feeling pretty good. There's also a kind of a contender's sweeper, if you will, for the players who missed the cut. If they missed the top 32, Steve and Jeff, Mike, they run a separate contenders kind of sweeper at the high end of the building as well for those individuals to take home a few extra bucks if they can. So pretty cool stuff. If you have any questions, obviously drop them in the chat here. We've got 2 matches on a pair. If you're looking for a particular player, also let me know. I'll try to give you match updates as best as I can. I'll enlist some help from Jeff probably in that if possible, or go down and momentarily or every now and then take a little break and go look at a few score sheets. It's great to be in a bowling center on a Sunday. Something about that. It just means generally means a championship of some kind is on the line. Or in 2 weeks for me, it'll mean that I'm bowling league. And not quite yet a championship. Not yet. Got a ton of time for that. So the number 2 seed here, Dwayne Brown. How do you guys feel about, to me, in my opinion, when you get to bracket a situation, you just kind of toss out, obviously the pins won't follow them, of course. But I think it's, it's anybody's ball game, to me. Match play is just a completely different animal, as most of you certainly are aware of and know. Well, scoreboard went down on 7 and 8. That would be good. Good morning to Peggy. Hello, Richard. Billy and Morgan Moore. All right, so Morgan Moore is on lane 11. That helps that as soon as I look to my right, there he is. And Morgan is bowling, looks like he's bowling Steve Smith. It's a tough matchup. Looks like Billy is on 15. Looking at the bracket and looking for Billy's name. I know it's up there somewhere. Ah, there it is. I can't tell who he's bowling, so now I'm going to get up. Billy and Ed Smagler. Oh, that's a tough matchup, too. That's the 16 and the 17. Martin, it's way too early for scores. We just started. In Dallas, I believe Stu is also on 15 and 16. We're going from 1 through 16 for double elimination bracket matches throughout the day. So it's Kurtz Williams on 15 and 16, along with Billy Ginch and Ed Smagler. On 13 and 14, looks like John Johnson and James Hastings. Clay Rees and Robert Robinson. 11 and 12, Andrew Kane, Jason Fujimoto. Also on that pair, as I mentioned, Morgan Moore and Steve Smith. Then 9 and 10, Kevin Jenkins, Alex Harmon. Stefan Wood versus Cortez Schenk. There we go. Now see, I can roar with that one. If you got the wrong scoreboard, that's something I can fix. Bam. That was arguably the simplest fix I'll ever have in my lifetime as a broadcaster slash live streamer slash producer slash whatever else. And then we'll do this. And then we're almost completely fixed all the way. Let's make that one item there. And I think we got it. Hello, Jerry. Thanks, Margarita. Appreciate you. Robert pulling for Steven. Again, 2-game total pinfall. Oh, appreciate that, Martin. Yes, I couldn't tell. I'm a very, direct when we're talking about streaming. If there's an issue, just tell me exactly what you see or don't see. So some additional people here today, of course, watching, which is exactly what we want to see. Everyone's sitting at the in the areas where the scoreboard cameras are. So there's going to be a little movement from those. I think probably more so than we've seen throughout the weekend. Excuse me. Let's see. Early on here, it's a pretty even match between Shank and Wood. I believe, let's double check that Cortez is letter A, and he is. Cortez working on a strike in the 5th. Both players are clean. He's at 78 in the 4th, strike in the 5th. Stefan had a double, but he's clean as well. Strike, spare, double, 8 spare. He's got 88 in the 4th. Working on a spare in the 5th. Good morning, Mary. I think similar to what we've expected here, at least what I've expected. No one's kind of jumping out and making them look too seriously easy here. It's still the same condition. Now, of course, all these players now have 8 games of competition on them. So they no doubt got some notes, whether they've written them down or keep them in their head. And understanding what has worked for them, what didn't, what balls may have worked, what areas of the lane worked. Perhaps who is more willing to take some risk this morning and into the afternoon to get to the top 4. Of course, that's what they're working their way towards. We'll whittle this thing down to 4 players. And this afternoon will be a top 4 player stepladder final. It'll be on 7 and 8. And the winner will receive $10,500. Talked to Dylan Taylor this morning, and I asked him about his style and how he got to it. And he said, you know, he kind of self-taught a little bit early on. Don't they know that is the defending champion right there? Our first 8-pin of Sunday. Emily Eckhoff just motioned to me, turning the knife into my chest a little bit more. That's what 8-pins do. I sure can, Lisa. Let's see. He is not currently up yet. Matthew is taking on, I believe, Michael Fitzgerald. That is indeed true. 14 versus the 19 there. And I'll tell you in 1 second. As soon as the score is updated. Ooh, good break there for Dennis. Pretty good match so far brewing here between Dennis and Keith. 2 versus 31. Keith now on a 3-bagger. Matthew currently trailing by 19 pins so far in game one to Michael Fitzgerald. Matthew Zweig, I'm speaking of. Francois Lavoie, he is down on a 1-2. Lavoie is taking on Dale Coffey. Bobby Campanelli, who went 256, 214 to sneak in there last night. He's also on 1-2 and bowling against Keith Dahmer, 6 seed, 6 versus 27 there. Here's Eckhoff. She is 5 out of 6 in regards to the clean fashion. Pretty even match there to start. Excuse me. Let's see, Mr. Reed's Clay is, he's down on 11 and 12, I think. Or 13 and 14. Yeah, 13 and 14. I'll check his letter. You can see a little bit from here. He is bowling Robert Robinson, who bowled very well last night in the E squad, or squad 5. Stefan Wood with a double over on 9 and 10. So far, one of the best matches in the area so far is, looks like it's going to be Shank and Wood. Cortez went 142 over for the last 4 games to get to plus 30, or 43, excuse me. After starting 196, 136, 200, 177. And similar stuff last night by Morgan Moore. He went plus 130 or 132 for the last 4. Keith Fung now with 4 in a row. Good matchup here with Dennis Brown. You know, in 2-game total pinfall, there's some similarities, I think, in 3-game, but if you get off to a good start in a 2-game, it's a little bit easier to hold on to that lead, I think, as opposed to a 3-game total pinfall. Seen a lot of big leads evaporate in 3 games as opposed to 2. Here is Fung, purple hammer. At least it looks to be that. And through the nose, that ends the streak at 4. Zweig, well, Matthew Zweig just carried a 7-10. And that's a double for Matthew. That's his first double in this game. His opponent can get to 212. Now he's got a good bird's eye view, potentially up 230. He can max at 237. Robert Marion is taking on Mason Edmondson. Also on lanes 3 and 4, and an open frame, the first for Keith Fung. And now he falls behind early or late in this game one here. Nice shot there for Dylan Taylor. Back off, got to push a little. Wow. Good shot. Wraps a 10-pin. Emily is the only woman who advanced to the top 32. Again, she qualified in 10th. Well, we have a second. Uh-oh, back over to John here. I'll show you Keith. And then let's take a look at 9 and 10. Oh. This is Keith Jenkins. Or Kevin Jenkins, excuse me. That was Keith Fung. Emily missed that 10-pin. And then chopping the 2-4-7 here is Jenkins. He is working against Alex Harmon, and this is Harmon about to step up. Good shot. Saw an opening and trying to capitalize. Again, 2-game total pin. This is not best of 3. 2-game total pins. You see Morgan Moore there on the right. He leaves a 4-9. Pretty close first game between him and Steve Smith. And Cortez Schenk, who was working on a strike. 1, 2, 8, 10. Stefan Wood, meanwhile, is on a 3-bagger. Got 112 in the 6, working on a 3-bagger. Right now, Cortez, the best he could do is 217. Back to Taylor briefly. That's a double for Dylan Taylor. Here is Stefan. Asks for some help, and he gets it. Wow. Not the way he drew it up, but he'll take it. Wayne Mellinger struggling, by the way, here. We'll get back to 5 and 6 momentarily. All right, so 205 for Cortez. He's going to trail early here. Wood crossed over again, but it left a 5-pin, so he's going to be in the 220s. Good spare for Dylan Taylor. He's in the books at 213. It's going to be 221 for Stefan Wood. There you go.
Helps to have a microphone in front of me. Well, some interesting things on the high end here.
Yeah, it's a pretty close match. So 13 pins between now Taylor and Albrecht. 16 pins between Cortez Schenck and Stefan Wood. There is Dwayne Brown. He had a nice chance to really put some distance. Nice little cushion early. But now he can only get to 219. And Dwayne Mellinger struggling a little bit early here against Kyle Duster, the defending champion.
Well, he had a tough early round last year and then hit his straps to end up being the top seed. Talking about top seeds, Stu Williams down the high end here, lanes 15 and 16, well out of reach, probably lucky for us. He's none too happy down there.
Okay.
179, down by about 40 pins after the first game. Well, I've got some good news.
What do you got?
We advertised $55,000 tournament. We're going to pay $62,250, an increase of $7,250. Has that ever happened?
Wow.
On any telecast
No.
where the tournament director announces that? We had some good sponsors. We've mentioned them. A lot of their names are on the screen here, and a lot of their names are not on the screen. We ended up with a total of 40 sponsors this year that put in something between $200 and more. And that's been a big help to boost the prize fund today by over $7,000. And we've got the high three people out of cash, the high woman, the high senior, and the high youth bowler. Each of them win $300, and it might be a surprise to a couple of them. Jim Tillery, who spoke with us yesterday on the telecast, was the high senior out of cash. He just missed cash, incidentally. He finished about 55th.
Right.
And then Aileen Linares, who we also talked about at length yesterday when Dana was talking. She's the high woman out of cash. And the high youth out of cash is Madison Holman, who we had in front of us yesterday. So they'll each get a bonus of $300 apiece.
That is good stuff. That's beyond good stuff. That's great stuff, actually.
Okay, well, the defending champion in a little bit of a hole early. 38 pins down, 151 to 189. There's a mixed bag of scores along the lanes here. 221 to 205 on 9 and 10, 167 and a 178 on the same pair. A little strange, some of these scores. Looks like Emily's going to take a lead. She's left a 5-pin in the 10th, 160 in the 9th, and she's going to be ahead of John McIntyre, who's going for a difficult spare here. Got that. He's going to shoot 160 something, so she'll have about a 1-mark lead going in. Here's another match over here on 3 and 4, 146 to 187, 191 to 200. The 200 opened the 10th frame. That was a bit of an unfortunate thing over there. Not much going on score-wise. They're struggling on the fresh. Emily throwing with a little more speed there this morning. Probably going to be up by 10 to 12 pins. Very unusual style here for Dylan Taylor. He's made a few cuts here the last few years, and that's a good start for him in game 2. Up by 13 and started with a strike. Tyler Albrecht, his opponent, with a light hit 2-pin. Lane 6 looks like it's got a bit of a hang spot out there. Same shot as Dwayne Mellinger, never made the turn in the dry. Keith Fung in front of us now. Very demonstrative on the approach. He's an emotional player. Got away with 9 there. He always fiddling with his hand.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Worrying about this, that, and the other. Got lots of chatters here. It's a morning of gas bags on the screen here. Goodness gracious.
The good people started early this morning. They were curious about the roll-off, so kind of gave them some play-by-play of that. And they've been rocking and rolling ever since. Everyone typically, someone here, or everyone watching someone or wanting an update on somebody here in the tournament.
Wow, that was a good effort for
that?
Dwayne Mellinger. Goodness gracious. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could ever have done that, but he stopped as if shot, as they say in Australia. Talking about Australia, there was a story on Fox News this morning that Melbourne is in its 6th lockdown since this COVID deal started down there, and there's riots in the street and they're arresting hundreds of people. That's shocking in Melbourne. They've got a fairly repressive state government down there compared to the rest of Australia. And if I was the Premier down there, thank God I'm not, but if I was the Premier, I think I'd be looking for another vocation when this term is over. Okay, Dwayne's still in trouble. That ball not making the turn at all. 3 shots in a row. Looks like the back ends have gone away on this.
Yeah, no, it's early, but man.
Well, a question about Cortez Schenk and Stefan Wood match, and Schenk's opened up with a double, and that match is almost square now. The 16 pins the difference in the first one, 221 to 205. His double gets him to within a couple of pins behind Wood. Wood's dad, Bill, and the Wood family own Whitewood Lanes in Lubbock, Texas. And doing pretty good business, he said, since they got reopened by their Republican governor for bowling. You know, the state of Georgia here was only closed for about 5 weeks when the pandemic first started in March of last year. They opened on April the 30th. New Mexico got reopened for bowling on April the 30th this year. 1 year the difference between us and the state of Georgia. Stefan Wood on lane 9. Deep in the pocket. That was a great shot. Give him some encouragement. Jason Fujimoto just out of camera range here. He's shot 195 the first. Down to his opponent by 17 pins. The opponent started with a turkey, and Jason just flagged a spare. Dwayne's simply not getting that ball to make a good turn at the dry. Left a cold, cold 8-pin. I was going to say a cold 8-pin. It's still wobbling. With a light hit. Gotta get my eyes working this early on on a Sunday morning. Brack trying to catch up against Dylan Taylor. Very unusual way that Dylan addresses the pins, but throws a pretty powerful ball. A little bit of trouble here with the 410. Takes his stance and puts his thumb in absolutely last. But he's in trouble in this frame. Dennis Brown, a popular player here in New Mexico. He was a New Mexico boy for a long time, now up in southern Colorado. And a very busy family entertainment center there that includes bowling, of course. Emily up by 12, bowling on lane 5. And carries the 5, not the 7, after a strike. Double would have been handy. Well, there's a rare sighting on lane 9, Cortez Schenk, who bowled a fabulously strong ball. Left a 5-pin. That hasn't probably happened since he was a youth bowler. A couple of pins hit it and made it stand back up right where it normally is. Gives Stefan Wood on lane 10 now a chance to get a double and keep that 16-pin lead. Mellinger, goodness, moved a tad left and went straight through the face, as did Stefan Wood. Splits and missed bears, the order of the morning here on these TV lanes. Almost spared it, but he's in a whole heap of trouble now, down by at least 50 pins. The defending champion fighting to stay out of the losers bracket. Alex Harmon missed a bucket, and now he's got the big 4. Lane 6 very tricky on the house shot. It's normally quite opposite to what's happening here.
Did you mention Fujimoto, Jason, at all?
Well, he's down by 33 in this game, and he was already down by 17, so he's 50 pins in the hole against Andrew Kane. And Kane had a pretty solid 212, no opens. Both very experienced players, Fujimoto and Andrew Kane. Kane's probably got the edge in longevity out there at a top level, and a previous winner here. He won the 7th New Mexico Open against his good friend Brett Wolf. An all-Arizona final. I remember it was on lane 9 and 10, and it was a tough old match, that one, 180 to 150. Neither could get out of their own way. It was almost like, no, I don't want it, you want it. No, no, I don't want it, you can have it. It's one of those unfortunate championship matches that you'd prefer to forget, even though you win.
Jim Tillery checking in. Wow, mate.
What did he say there?
That's great news. That makes my frosted mini wheats go down a little better this morning.
Yeah. What about the steak and eggs? Come on, fess up here, Jimmy.
Frosted mini wheats sounds great, actually, Jim. You don't even need milk to eat frosted mini wheats. Keith has made a significant move left. That's the thing with 2-game matches. You don't have time to kind of wait. So if you feel like you got to try something, you just got to do it.
Well, there's a mini opening for Fujimoto over there on lane 11. Kane's ball failed to make it far enough up. He's left the 3-6-7. Fujimoto needs a double. That'll cut the lead down to about 40. No, not to be. I don't think it's going to be a win for our friend from Hawaii, now living here in New Mexico. A few lefties in the final today. That's always good to see on a challenging shot.
Well, they destroyed squad 3. Andrew Kane, Kevin Jenkins. I'm missing one, but they were on squad 3.
Oh,
and Mason Edmondson.
Yeah, that was a good spare for Dennis Brown. Uh-oh.
Wow. Cortez just threw one in the channel.
Been a winner here a few times. Look at these big forwards back-to-back on lanes 4 and 5. Goodness. I don't think I'd like to be Dwayne Mellinger bowling on lane 6 now.
Yeah, there might be some folks hoping that the matches go quickly so we can get to the re-oil of that pair.
Yes, there will be a re-oil coming up after probably round 3 or 4, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's about 3 rounds or so. And makeshift schedule. Nice job there by Jeff. So it could happen around 11 noon, around that time. It really just depends on how quick the matches go.
Well, that ball of Cortez Schenk has more revs on it than a high-speed motor vehicle in the NASCAR race. Goodness gracious.
Just an incredible game. The good news for Cortez on that shot, on that spare, he just made the gutter spare. He did not lose count. He was on a strike. Francois Lavoie had a 43-pin advantage after game 1 in his match against Dale Coffey, if I'm not mistaken. And he's got the front 6.
In fact, he's had a 10-bagger down there. He finished that scrappy game early with a 4-bagger, and now 6 more to start. So looks like he might get a big score here and continue on. I don't know what's happening down on Stu Williams' lanes, but
I'm going to go check that out.
like he said, yes, have a look at it because he was none too happy. Got a consolation tournament on the high-end lanes today. Anyone that finished 33rd and under, all the way through to bowler number 194, they're eligible today. We don't have room for everyone. If they all came in and wanted to bowl, that would be a long day for them. But we usually get 30 or 40 bowlers that stay back and decide to try their hand on that sports shot down there. And we've got about 8 in the first squad. The next squad coming up for that around about 10 o'clock. If you are a bowler in the tournament and you'd like to play the consolation, come and see us. So we guarantee a minimum of $1,000 prize fund for that event, whether we get the entries or not. Kane has opened now 2 frames in a row. He's 131 on the 7th, but Fujimoto can't find anything on lane 12. So it looks like Kane will go on there. Fung trying to do something here. He was down by 14, 209 to 205 to 219 in the first one. But even with that turkey, he's still down by quite a few pins. Dennis Brown just staying clean, 219, no opens. 108 in the 5th, a strike in the 6th, left the 3-6 here. He's just trying to make marks on every frame, and he's doing a good job at that. Very clean yesterday, plus 80 odd in the qualifying round, all 200s. And that's pretty hard work. Lavoie's string stopped at 6, got a 9 spare. Another spare for Brown. Brown very experienced in tournament play. He does a lot of bowling in leagues and the odd tournament up in southern Colorado.
Okay. First couple of completions. Stu Williams, the number 1 seed, falls to Stephen Kurtz, the man who won the roll-off this morning. And I said, if you're Stephen Kurtz, you got a little momentum. You already got a game under your belt. Kurtz advances. It's not there in the 10th frame, but it is mathematically over. And Billy Ginch is going to advance off that pair as well. He defeated Ed Smaglick. Again, mathematically over. So Kurtz and Ginch, excuse me, Colorado is record hard this morning.
This might be the most Coloradans that we've ever had in the bracket play. A lot of folks came up from Arizona. We had over 30 from both of those states, 17 of them from Tucson area.
Again, Kurtz defeats Stu Williams, the number 1 seed. Stu will face Ed Smaglick in the elimination bracket. It'll be a 1-game match.
And Cortez Schenk steamrolling to a win here over Stefan Wood of Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah, it's interesting how this one turned. That's why it's 2 games, and in some cases 3, depending on the format. But see if Dylan Taylor can give this one a run here. This match far from over. Oh, that looks good.
Oh, goodness. Lost a couple of pins on count by not getting at least one, but he was going for it. He needed that one. He's up by 13 after the first game. Fung is coming up next, though. He'll still be a leader, but if his opponent gets a strike, he's got a chance to go off the sheet for 225, and that would put Taylor under immense pressure. Well, let's have a look. Emily here, staying clean. 97 in the fifth, no doubles yet, and she'll take that. You know, don't knock Brooklyn's in this tournament. Take everything you can get.
Just like Keith Fung just did.
Lucky Fung. Alex Harmon on lane 9, one of our formerly youth players. This is his first adult tournament. And he's out of Artesia, one of the bowling program school events down there with Coach Ken Clayton. We spoke about that a couple of days ago, and he's a good product of that program. Taylor's left the door open for Albrecht here.
Really interesting match. Ooh.
Oh, goodness. Goodness.
Wow.
Goodness.
Not the time for that. And then over to the right. Let's see if we can go there after Kyle Duster shot here. And Duster trying to hold off Dwayne Mellinger. But Kevin Jenkins has struggled mightily here. And he almost led squad 3 yesterday. Let's see what his low game did come on the fresh. It was 177. I'm speaking of qualifying. He's got 167 in game 1, and then he's got 119 in the 7th, working on a spare.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't mind a 177 now.
That's a 14-pin match between he and Alex Harmon. So still anybody's ball game there.
Fung looking for a 5-bagger. Maybe a chance.
Wow. Definitely giving himself a chance. That's all you can ask for. Good look at Schenk here. We'll get back to Duster. Here's Cortez.
He's going to win that match by 70 or 80 pins. 2-game set. Brown needs one to retain the lead. Through the face. Still a clean game all the same. And Laguardia down there on 1 and 2. He can go off the sheet for 279. That would be a heck of a last game and a bit. 4-bagger to finish for a 193, a 6-bagger spare and a double. Dennis just keeps on closing frames. It's going to come down to the 10th frame between him and Fung.
I'm going to go do an update check. If you need an update, please drop it in the chat right now. First one on my list will be Clay Reese.
Very interesting. Albrecht disappointed with his last couple of shots. Went through the face twice. And
nice crumbler there for Duster.
yeah, Dylan Taylor just hoping he doesn't do anything crazy in the 10th frame. A Greek church would not be advisable in this match right now.
I like the confidence from Jeff. He's been putting up names for winners before the official conclusion of the match on the bracket. is.
Good shot by Dylan, and that is enough. So Taylor a winner. And for those of you who remember the 1950s iconic Western series, Gunsmoke, well done, Mr. Dylan. Sorry, Emil. With that, he left the commentary position. Get some updates. Taylor now rubbing salt into the Albrecht wound. Double in the 10th. He's going to shoot a 424 or so. That's a pretty good number on the fresh. Looking along the lanes, there's not too many over 400. Emily would like to have had that one there. It's going to be a close match between her and her opponent. 12 pins the difference. Her score was up in game one, but her opponent's got a 5-bagger. John McIntyre. Looks like Dwayne Mellinger's found something a little late in this match, but doing okay. Fujimoto lost to Andrew Kane. Kane had 212 the first, 173, 385, and he wins by 30 pins over Fujimoto from Albuquerque. Campagnoli down there remonstrating like a true Italian.
Yeah, he's struggling.
Waving his arms in the air. Fung really would like to have had another strike there. Didn't happen. He went through the face, trying to avoid another Brooklyn on that lane, and didn't make the turn for it.
So Bobby down on 1 and 2, shot 200 game 1. He's got 126 in the 9th frame. I think he left 4-pin in the 10th. His opponent, Keith Dahmer, at the time, if he had struck out, would have won the match. Dahmer can only get to 350. So here's the situation for Bobby. He made the spare, but could lose. Dahmer has to make the spare here. He's got a 610. He makes it. If Bobby strikes on the fill, I believe Dahmer would just need 7.
346 and 179. He needs an 8 count if Bobby strikes. Didn't strike, so the guy's just got to stay behind the foul line. Looks like Dahmer will fluke that match down there after a horrid second game by the Californian.
We'll pop on over to 9 and 10 here, as Kevin Jenkins can get to 187. Still, this one's still close.
Let's see if he gets this first one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, a 7 count after a spare. That doesn't help. Now, Harmon just left a Greek church on lane 10, so he's not exactly firing on all cylinders either. Let's see what happens here. Oh, a cold 9-pin. Well, he's got enough. He's just got to spare the 9-pin. That'll be the end of that match. Yep.
That'll officially do it there.
Yep, that's it.
Alex Harmon defeats the number 5 seed, right?
Oh, a good shot by Emily. Needed a strike there. Left a 10-pin. And Fung's going to catch up a few pins, but doesn't make any difference there. He hasn't got enough in hand. 391 for Fung and a loss. Dennis Brown's going to shoot a small 400, 420 odd. chopped the 10th, but irrelevant. 414 to 391, and a rare open frame in 10 games of the tournament so far for Dennis Brown. Harmon winning his first match as a adult bowler.
How about that?
That's a moment to remember. Well, here we go here on lanes 5 and 6. Let's watch McIntyre. He's on a 5-bagger. He's down by 12. And that's through the face. And I'll tell you something. What just happened to him, this could be interesting. That pin was slowly floating along the back, and he's moved the 10 pin almost to the back of the pin deck. That's a very choppable spare.
Extremely.
He'd better be careful. 203, that gives Emily Eckhoff a 380 set. And this guy needs to make this spare. And he's moved it. Ooh, played it safe.
It's good adjustment.
Went to the left of the... I'm sure he recognized that larger gap between the 6 and the 10. That could have been a real bad break for him, but it'll be enough. 223 gives him 388. That'll be a win by 8 pins. So some strange matches along here. Lavoie, the US Open 2-time winner, 193 and 279, and in the last 16 shots he had 15 strikes on lanes 1 and 2. That pair in this house has a reputation as a feast or a famine. Looks like he just had a nice lunch down there. He won that match by 170 pins over Dale Coffey, formerly of Rio Rancho, now living in Colorado Springs. We had 14 states represented this year, and one bowler from Canada, and that's about normal for the New Mexico Open.
Do not start yet. You're going to get one shot on each lane during which you may surface.
All right, so we are just about complete with updates and winners bracket. I'm just going to go down the list from what I can see at the moment. Looks like Kurtz versus Yish, as we talked about. John Johnson versus Clay Rees.
Lots of movement at the station here as they change lanes. Some of them going from the high end to the low end, but it's still pretty fresh out there, and wasn't a whole lot to write home about.
Some good matches here. Andrew King versus Steve Smith. That should be a good one.
Yeah, Smith and Kane are both Team USA members.
Nice young matchup here. Alex Harmon versus Cortez Shank.
Yeah.
But just with age, Shank's experience is second to none.
Cortez would have the edge there, even though they're both quite young. And Shank is up already on lane 8. Wants to get a jump start here. Put his opponent under a bit of pressure. That's not going to help. That ball died. Dead on arrival. Had a lot of speed on it. The 1 pin flew over the top of everything, and he's got a 4 pin bucket. Oh, Robert Marion. Well, this is the practice shot, so it doesn't really matter. I jumped the gun there. 20 past 9, you'd think I'd know
It could be
a little more about this sport by now. Some of them probably taking an opportunity to try something different if their first round ball didn't do anything for them. Mentally, physically, or emotionally, they're trying something different perhaps in these one ball practice on each lane. Incidentally, folks, before you ask the question why are they wearing shorts, they're in New Mexico. It's still the dead of summer, and it's going to be about 96 degrees today. So, and when we get a crowd in here, they're bowling downstairs. They're 3 steps from the concourse level down to the playing area, and it does get a little sticky down there, humid-wise. So that's why we let them wear shorts in the finals and in the qualifying round. Of course, some of them have got legs you wish they had long pants on. Occasionally,
I might fall in that category.
Occasionally, I've seen better legs on chairs.
I might fall in that category. So the matches we'll have here, 5 and 6. Looks like we've got Michael Fitzgerald and Robert Marion. We've got Keith Dahmer versus Francois Lavoie. That's on 5 and 6. 7 and 8, a real good one. Cortez Schenk versus Alex Harmon. Steve Smith versus Andrew Kane. The winners bracket matches, we talked about it. I just wrote them all, but hard to tell right now. Looks like the next pair is going to be on 11 and 12 for bracket, or winners bracket, excuse me. Or maybe not. Where's Mason Edmondson? He didn't lose, right? He did? Maybe he did.
Who's Stu playing there?
Stu is taking on Ed Smaglick.
Wow. A lot of experience on that pair of lanes, and they're bowling on lanes 13 and 14. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on the scores down there. One of them is going to say goodbye to the tournament early.
And so 9 and 10 is a contenders bracket match, or matches. And it's Matthew Zui versus Mason Edmondson, Dale Coffey versus Bobby, or no, that's true. Yeah, Dale Coffey versus Bobby Campanelli.
Kane, both of them with 7.
Uh-oh.
Oh, goodness. I saw him, he's got one of those...
switch grips?
Yeah, all those thumbs that he moves around.
They didn't come out, though, I don't believe so.
Steve Smith, boy, that's a heck of a break for him. Not only Kane hanging up in the ball and pointing it down the lane for a miss, but he barely made that rail. First look at Schenk on this pair. 2-8-10. A little tricky there. Lavoie flagged a 10-pin on lane 6. Oh, we got some stuff going on early here. Lavoie missing a 10-pin after 15 strikes out of 16 shots. And the kid, Alex Harmon, just thrilled.
You know, Alex would be the type of player where, you know, first time, you know, sometimes that's a good thing.
That's what happened with Eric Hatchett when he won it. No one expected him to keep going. He was the top seed that year. He went through unbeaten and ended up winning it in the second match of the championship round. He lost the first round and then came good again in the replayed match.
Robert Marion, you just saw his shot on lane 6. He has continued to, at least on the fresh, play where he played during qualifying. He's playing right up the gutter. Slow ball speed with urethane. Speaking of Marion.
Well, that's a much more confident shot by Andrew Kane then than that spare attempt. Dennis Brown against Dylan Taylor down there. Brown opening up with a strike. There's a missed pin by Michael Fitzgerald. Goodness, they're making it tough for themselves in the very first frame here.
So after this round, we will have some players eliminated.
Oh boy, Kane 17 in the second. Looks like Campagnoli's woes have continued on 9 and 10. He just got a 6 and a 1. Harmon looking for an early lead on Schenk, who left that 2-8-10. Got a double as Harmon. We'll keep an eye on the scores down there with Smaglick and Stu Williams, top qualifier. Bracket player being the top qualifiers somewhat irrelevant quickly. We saw that in the USBC Masters as well.
Yeah, once you get to this point, I mean, this is when the tournament really starts. You do the work to get here, and then, you know, almost like not a new game plan in some aspects. Sometimes it is a new game plan, depending on what's going on the lanes, but it's winning time now.
Very good shot there by Andrew Kane. One of 4 left-handers in the top 32 this year, but he's got to overcome that unfortunate start. Here's Smith, his opponent. Oh, a nice double for him. Steve skipped a PBA 50 event to come here. He likes bowling here. Lives in San Diego. It's quite a hike for him and his wife to get to New Mexico. They're somewhat in the close to the middle of the country, and it's a long way from anywhere. It's the 5th largest state in area, so even when you hit the border here, you've still got a long way to go to get to the Albuquerque Rio Rancho area. Harmon a better stay on his game here. Schenk a double after.
Yeah, talked about Cortez's rev rate a little earlier. I'm gonna have to talk to my man Mike Calderon. I'm just so curious about like what Cortez's axis tilt rotation numbers might be. Like his ball just rolls differently than a lot of other people that I've seen. In the field right now, Andrew Kane and Dwayne Mellinger, right? The only 2 champions, past champions currently. Is that correct? Sound right? With one, that Francois, runner-up.
Yeah, Lavoie. Let's see. You are correct. Hard to win this event twice. John Young, the only person that's ever done that. He won the first 2. There was 78 entries the first year, mostly New Mexico bowlers. No one knew about it. And then the second year he won it, and we had bowlers from about 4 states. And he repeated, and really no one else has come close to winning it back-to-back.
So I got to ask, you know, you got the framed photos of the past champions down on the high end along the wall. Is that wall dedicated to champions?
Yes.
Okay. Because you know we're going to run out of space in a couple of years.
We've got a sign up there that says New Mexico Open Wall of Champions, and of course we moved it as we continue to run the tournament. So we might have to start near the fire exit door down there in the mechanics room. Of course, that assumes I'm going to be around that long.
At worst, you're going to be in emeritus status.
Yeah.
You'll be around. You'll just come in for this tournament. Andrew Kane, I think he's struggling with feel right now. That's understandable.
Oh, great spare.
But that will get your confidence up.
Yeah. Down by 32 earlier in this match, but Stu is remaining unhappy with his form. He just went wild brook on there and left a 5-pin.
Keep in mind, folks, the losers bracket matches are just one game.
Yes, and they'll be over quickly. Let's see. Smaglick left a split, so that gives Stu a little bit of breathing room. Let's have a look at the score there. Stu's clean for 59 in the third, a spare in the fourth, and Smaglick just went through the face at the 4-7-6 and got 2 of them. He's 66 in the fourth, so about a 1-mark lead for the Englishman. Represented Europe 6 times in the Weather Cup, which is a terrific television event. It's made by Matchroom Sport out of England. And they had an event in Las Vegas a couple of years ago, and they're already selling tickets for the tournament this year. I believe it's going to be mid-September, and I think it's back in England. It would be great live television here in America if a network would ever pick it up. I think it would be well viewed. Back with Smith now at lane 8, a 32-pin lead, and a little bit of a struggle here. Big guy, Steve Smith. Campagnoli struggling, I would think, with confidence over there. He's had a break with his opponent opening twice, and he's about 10 pins ahead after 3 frames.
Hook.
Wow. Gives trainer life.
There's my favorite pin, Fitzgerald 8-pin on lane 6. Man, Steve Smith, I always loved Steve Smith. A, to watch him bowl, but B, because he used to play basketball professionally.
He's got almost got the right height these days. He'd be one of the shorter players if he was still in the team.
He played in Portugal and the Philippines.
Both beautiful countries, incidentally. Bowling World Cup was held in the country of Portugal and in the city of Lisbon. A very picturesque capital. Never been there, incidentally, but I've had one shot at international bowling. Schenk, one of the fitter players on the circuit. Low body fat percentage, I would think.
Excuse me. If you're just joining us, this is essentially round 2 of the double elimination bracket here at the New Mexico Open. We had a full first round, the opening round matches. We now have winners matches and losers matches or contenders matches. We are watching 5, 6, 7, and 8. All of those are winners bracket at the moment. And then we'll take a peek over at 9 and 10. That's a losers bracket pair at 1 and 2 are contenders. 3 and 4 are winners.
And Lavoie keeping his nose in front there by 3 pins, 78 to 75, following a split by his opponent there in the 4th frame. More trouble for Kane, Greek Church. Last time I saw this many Greek churches, I was in Athens. I mentioned Melbourne earlier, and in the 50s and 60s, the city of Melbourne in Australia, the one that's under lockdown for the 6th time today, has the largest Greek population in the world outside of the city of Athens. I'm not sure of the total numbers, but generationally they've probably got 2 to 2.5 million people from the country of Greece living in Melbourne. Brown, a leader over there on lane 3 and 4 by about 20 pins. And Stu Williams got a handy lead over Smaglick. Smaglick losing a count. He's down by about 15 pins. That's a 1-game match down there. One of them's going to exit stage left soon. Fast 8 for Schenk. But he had been given a life earlier when Harmon flagged a single pin. A 3-pin at that.
Francois has looked very good here in the opening matches, despite that single pin miss early in frame 1.
Yeah, he's had a ton of strikes since. And Dharma needs a double to stay within 3 pins. Down by 3, 78 to 75. Looking for a double here is Dharma. Oh, yes.
Give it to him.
Carried the 9.
Keep the 6th seed. Bowled squad 3, shot 1658 for 8 games.
Marion on lane 5. 5 spares in a row, 3 9s, 2 7 counts, but he struck there in the 6th, though. He's now 92, and he's got a very handy early lead over Michael Fitzgerald, up by at least 27 after 3 opens from Fitzgerald.
Good shot there for Fitz. Saw Robert Robinson throw 10 back. He's down on 1 and 2 in a loser's bracket situation. And a tough spare here. 2-7-8 for Steve Smith. Robert Marion, as you tell, man, he's just that dude. You come in, you know, he's not wearing any jersey, none of that. He's just doing his thing. That's the dude you don't want to bowl.
Close match here. Campagnoli finally caught a double, but left a light hit 10-pin there. His opponents had 2 opens, but a turkey working, so he'll be down by about a mark, assuming he spares the 10-pin on lane 9. LeBlanc looking to increase the lead here. Week 10. Smith. Yes, good spare for him. That was smart play on his behalf. Doma not quite so fortunate. Well, Stewart better watch his P's and Q's down there. 122 in the 7th and a strike for Smaglik out of Flagstaff, Arizona. And Stu's trying to hold on to a lead. Yes, he does it. Strike for him, so he's up by 16 pins at the end of the 7th frame. Both of them with strikes in the 8th. They're out of our camera range, but they're on 13 and 14, and the winner goes home.
Ooh. I saw another upper deck 7. Saw a couple of those yesterday. Really good shot there for Alex Harmon. He had a pretty solid start last night, and then ran into some trouble. And man, able to stay in the hunt though. He shot 156, but it was enough. 156 in game 8 last night to stay in. He obviously dropped a few spots. Talked about the damage Cortez did to get into the cut with plus 142 for the back 4 last night.
Wow, that's probably the best in the tournament, I would think.
Yeah, it was he and Morgan Moore. And Morgan ended up qualifying 13th. Morgan went plus 127 for the back 4. But they each did a, what we talked about yesterday with Matthews Week. Morgan shot 146 to start. Cortez shot 136 in game 2. Matthews Week earlier yesterday had shot 135 in game 2, and of course went on to make the cut.
And in that other contenders match on 13 and 14, Fujimoto just flagged a easy spare, but has a 20 some odd pin lead. Stu Williams through the face for a rail, 3-6-10. Smaglik can cut the lead down here with a double and give himself a chance to win the match going away. I'll tell you what he does. It's like a radio commentary here. Smaglik right in the hole. That makes William definitely get this spare here and hope for the best in the 10th. He can get shut out now.
That was a Purdue at Smaglik right there. It's a good match. I don't know who Keith Fung is bowling, but he's got a 6-bagger.
And Williams opens. Chop the 6 and 3 off of the 10. So the match is more in Smaglik's hands now than Williams. Not much Williams can do about it except hope to go off the sheet, and Smaglik doesn't get a good count. Interesting. Marion on fire.
Gutter and urethane. That's Robert Marion.
Mellinger through the face down there. I can't see the scorecard, but I would imagine in the 9th frame, a split is not the thing dreams are made of.
Again,
Fujimoto's got to win this match against Morgan Moore out of Colorado. And get well shout out to Mason Moore, his brother, undergoing surgery for an injury. Hope he recovers well. He was a sign up here and had to drop out because of that injury.
Yeah, he was in the chat a little bit last night. Live from Tenpins More, Rio Rancho, New Mexico. My name is Emil Williams Jr. with Steve Mackie. Coming down to the end of some elimination matches. For update on Mr. Kurtz, he's got 132 in the 7th. And right now he is bowling, of course, Billy Ginch. Billy with a 3-bagger, 85 in the 5th. Again, that's a 2-game total pinfall match, so still very early.
We're watching Smaglik here take his time making Stu wait. That's probably not a bad tactic.
Ed's been around for a minute. He knows the tricks of the trade.
Oh, a big split.
That one just didn't look good, even from here.
No. And a 4-6 in front of him. Well, Williams still has to...
he's got a chance.
He's got to get a mark. He needs a mark, Williams. Yes, got it. Rip the rack. Boy. That's pretty much what happened to Chris Barnes a couple of years ago. He fluked his first match. I mean, he really did. He qualified 29th. He barely won his first match. And then, as I said the other day, he bowled against Al Wolf and shot 457 for the next two, or 557. Had a 300 and a 257, and that was pretty much all she wrote. He lost oh, look at Williams, goodness. That's going to be, he got a 5 washout. He needs one of them. Got 2, that's enough.
Survive and advance.
And it's a 1-game match. I guess the contenders bracket will be sitting out for a few minutes. He can take stock of his game. It's not exactly doing too well on 170 and 190. The last 2 games for him.
Ooh.
Smith a 4-bagger. That gives him a very handy lead going into game 2 down here against former winner Andrew Kane. Is anyone watching? Can we answer any questions?
Yeah, drop us a note. Morgan Moore is going to fall to Jason.
Yep, he is.
Jason Fujimoto.
And Fujimoto's given him every opportunity to win the match, and he couldn't take it. Missing 2 spares. Smith trying something. It worked. Deep inside, that's a better look than what he started with on lane 8. 222, a huge lead over Andrew Kane coming up for him. Kane can get one more for 166, so he's going to be down by 50 some odd pins. Also trying a different attack. I don't be too happy with that one. 166, he's down by 56. Two-game match coming up here.
Clay Reeves shot 239 in the opening game in his winner's bracket match versus John Johnson.
And Doma, a double, can take a small lead over Lavoie, left a 10-pin, Lavoie did. And now he's got an opportunity, Doma, to take a 4-pin lead, 3-pin lead.
Briefly take us over to 9 and 10 there, Steve, with Zweig stepping up in the 10th frame. Loser goes home here. Wow.
Oh, that was a good shot. That could have been an 8-pin and nothing else.
That's a 3-bagger for Zweig. Edmondson already with one in the 10th. One more, he'd be in the 2 teens. So the best now he can do is get to 203. That means
Zweig moves on.
Yep.
Can't lose.
So Zweig is
You got a
want to get a new ball to try.
good little tussle here between Stefan Wood and Schenk. Schenk's going to win this game and take a handy lead into the second game, but Wood making a good account of himself.
Finish that update on Clay. He's up 60 pins after one game. No problem there, Mary. Mary says thanks for the shout out for Mason. He'll be back next year. He bowled left-handed this summer, 14 weeks.
Well, Lavoie, a little bit of a concern here. Doma had 8 strikes for 210. Lavoie had 6 strikes for 207. Doma had 2 open frames, a couple of splits. Schenk takes the lead, 231 to 216. Good match between the two youngsters here. An unusually high scoring match for the TV lanes. We haven't seen a whole lot of joy out here on this pair, 7 and 8. And look at Brown, very consistent, closed every frame thus far, 188 in the 9th. Left a 4-pin there, up against Mr. Dylan Taylor, looking to strike and take a opportunity for a lead in the first game over there. Right there.
Ask and you shall receive. I had a question and wanted some info about Cortez's ball roll, and B3 performance gives me exactly what I need. The only problem is I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
I mean, I do, but
it looks like they're...
I need them to explain it to me.
They're writing to us in tongues. It is Sunday.
Like, I know the terms.
Yeah.
but I need the best in the game to break it down for me.
Well,
I need Mr. Garvey to do that for me, please.
Yeah, where's Vern Peterson when you need him? Well, Brown is going to keep in the lead. 208 with a strike, and Taylor never struck again. He went light, left a 7-pin, so he's going to shoot 203. Brown looking for a small lead. 208, he's got a 5-pin advantage. And about to start.
So Dale Coffey's going to get a win and remain in the tournament.
206 to 178 for Coffey. 2 opens, but 8 strikes for 206. Almost like strikes or nothing out here.
So elimination bracket winners: Stu Williams, Robert Robinson, Keith Fung, Dale Coffey, Matt Zweig, Dwayne Mellinger. Dwayne's still in the tournament. They have a long way to get there, but his road is still in use here.
56 pin lead, just got eroded by a mark or so. Smith chopping that spare. Schenk a 15 pin lead and left the same spare. Talks a lot. Dad's a big help in the back. Wood out the window. You know, he ended up with a number of strikes at the end of the last game, and then rush of blood to the head, and leaves a 4-pin spare. The 1, 2, 4, 8. He'll be trying to hit to the left of the 1 pin here if he's smart. And he did just that. Good boy. Good coaching from Clayton down there in Coach Clayton down there in Artesia. Artesia Lane's already chosen as the host of the 2023 High Five Teams Championship here in the state of New Mexico. Tenpins More hosting the deferred event from earlier this year in January. Second Sunday of January 2022, we'll be hosting 7 or 8 teams representing centers across the great state of New Mexico.
I bet if we looked at the schedule, the calendar for Tenpins and More, it'd just be full, right?
That's yeah. I have 51 Sundays every year for the last 20 years with events on them. I take one off, and then some people run other events, and I get a couple of Sundays off, but generally every Sunday morning about 8:30 or 9, we're checking people in for something or other. Brown, this is as good a performance that he's ever had in a bowling tournament, I would think. He's just been really hanging around the pocket like a vulture. And a shout out to him, of course. He bought me a nice coffee this morning. Good.
I'm going to go move one camera since we have a little time.
All right, get after it, Emil. Oh, big comeback here for Andrew Kane. He's had 3 solid hits. Keeping right under it and getting after it. That's a very good turkey compared to his first game of 166, which of course did end with a turkey. So he's had 6 in a row now over 2 games. And it looks like Smith's trying to give him a life here. Missed the first frame, struck on lane 8, and now he's gone light again on lane 7. Went high, adjusted when he came back to lane 7. Ball never made any move towards the pocket. And he's trying to get something going here. He better keep his spare. He was only 56 ahead, and he's lost some of that. Well covered. So Smith in a little bit of bother mentally. Lavoie trying to erase that 3-pin deficit to Doma. Tough shot for him. 3-pin. Matches in this winners bracket continuing on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11 and 12. We'll give you updates as the game continues on. Wood left for Harmon. Already opened a frame. I don't think he's going to be able to catch Schenk. Schenk's looking pretty sharp here. Two-hander.
All right, quick update on who is eliminated. Question there from Daniel. So, Stu Williams eliminated Ed Smaglick. Robert Robinson eliminated James Hastings. Jason Fujimoto eliminated Morgan Moore. Kevin Jenkins eliminated Stefan Wood. Keith Fung eliminated Tyler Albrecht. Dwayne Mellinger eliminated Emily Eckhoff. Matthew Zweig eliminated Mason Edmondson. And Dale Coffey eliminated Bobby Campanelli.
No, that was 6 strikes in a row, but only 6. Top of the 4th frame for Kane. That isn't going to help. In the roll-off this morning, Jacob Gill from Albuquerque lost with a 171. He missed a spare in the 10th frame. It was all over by then, but he did spare the washout twice in that match against consolation squad coming up now. If you bowled in the tournament and you're watching and you want to try and win some money, usually the winner gets $350 or $400. We pay down the line a little ways. Second squad about to go on, and then we'll have another one at midday, and you can come in and sign up for that and bowl. We've got 14 people going on in the 10-15 shift. You have to bowl in the New Mexico Open, and you have to sign up. Well, that's a turkey for Doma, and he's putting the US Open winner Lavoie under some pressure here. Lavoie looking at a sleeper. Makes that, but he's going to be down by 23 or 24 pins early in the second game and the 2-game set. Just a consistency. Robert Marion continuing on there, and a break for Schenk, as if someone with that many revs needs any breaks. 69 in the third. He's up by 38 pins in this game, and total now almost 50 pins for the 2-game set. Harmon tried to keep it close, but he's opened 2 frames this game already. 31 in the third. Strike working. Make that a double. Doma can really put Lavoie under the gun here. There goes his ball on lane 5. Nope. Ooh. With that nasty cluster in the corner, the 3, 6, 9, 10. One of the most oft missed spare attempts on the PBA Tour, according to Fox Sports. And that gives Lavoie, who's nudging the ball return here with his left leg, a chance to strike and get a string started. Let's have a look at this one. Right in the hole. Very consistent release. Doma going for this tough spare, makes it beautifully. Wow, impressive. And Smith sparing a washout. Keep Kane at bay. Dillon hoping for a double, and Brown over there still clean. 9 spare. 6 spare, 8 spare strike. He just continues to close frames, does Dennis Brown. Probably only opened 1 or 2 in the 11 games so far. Key shot for Doma after a tough spare, comes back with a strike. That's ominous. Well, if most revs wins the tournament, there's your winner right there.
I'm
by a mile.
being really serious. I am intrigued. Like I'm so intrigued that I might have to visit B3 Performance. I really want to see it. Good shot.
Key double for Lavoie. And he wasn't sure what that was going to do, I can tell you. Very interesting match here, Lavoie and Doma.
There is kind of this one standalone pair, 11 and 12, that does have winners bracket matches. That's Clay Reese and John Johnson, Billy Inch, and Stephen Kurtz. Oh my.
Tyler back-to-back pocket hits. That one carried the 10 against Brown. He's caught up a few pins here. It's almost dead even, that match over there, because of Brown's low counts after spares.
Make it.
Oh, it doesn't get much closer than that. 6. Oh, a rare opening for Marion as well, but he's got no trouble there. 64 pins ahead. and picked up another 10 in this game, so he's probably going to advance comfortably. Lavoie's moved up on the approach. He's not touching the ball return this time. He's moved up just a tad. And looking for a turkey and finds it. That's interesting. He moved up about a foot or so because he was touching the Tenpins and More sign on the side of the rack there. And that time he was in front of the ball rack.
Probably threw off his rhythm ever so slightly when he grazed the ball return.
Yeah. Doma. Oh, lucky boy. Keith Doma gets a very fortunate double. That one of Brooklyn. Didn't have a clue where it was going.
I've been there.
Duster throwing a backup ball over there.
Marion's just a tough guy to beat. He doesn't generally miss the pocket. Update over on the Ginch and Kurtz matchup. Billy's got 103 in the 6th with a strike in the 7th. Kurtz with 107 in the 5th, working on the strike in the 6th. He's about to step up with a chance to double. He is clean through 6, but he is trailing in the match.
Taylor, 2 pocket hits and now 6, 7, 10. So tried to get away with another one there. Didn't want to get another Brooklyn and ended up leaving the 3, 6, 10 Doma. So Lavoie can take a lead here, but he'll need another strike. He's got a turkey. 3 pins down after the first game following Doma's 4-bagger, 210 to 207. Very close match. Big crowd watching them too. Right in the slot. That's what happens when you're a 5-time champion and 3 of those are majors. I bet he's probably the first person that's had 5 titles and 3 of them majors. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting stat. I think there is something like that, though. But I mean, when you go, when you got the resume that Francois has put together, just goes to show what he can do in the not only the most prestigious or toughest moments, but when it's on the line, he's there.
Well, let's have a look at it. 118 in the 5th for Lavoie and a double, 6 and 7. So he lost 5 pins in the 5th frame, but he's got a double. The other opponent, Doma, a strike and spare. Still close. 3 pins the difference in the first game. 2-game match. Winner advances and stays in the winner's bracket, and the loser goes to the losers bracket. 1-game matches in the losers bracket. No place for the faint-hearted.
I know the scores were erased. I think Cortez was up by 20.
Cortez,
yeah.
No, not quite 20, but he's running away with this. He's got a 6-bagger, so that's all over. And a spare on lane 4 by McIntyre, spared the 6-7. Never looked like missing it once he was in flight on his approach. Good one for him, and he needed that. Actually, his opponent's got 2 doubles in the first 7 frames. Again, if you bowl in the New Mexico Open, you finish 33rd all the way down to 193rd. We do have a space for some people in the consolation tournament. There'll be another squad coming up at about 12:15. Doma comes back with a strike. Let's see where Lavoie stands this time. Yep. He's moved back again. No, he's moving up. No, he's moved back. He's trying to get comfortable out there. That's where he was when he got his first shot. Let's see what happens here. Good loft. Ooh.
I think he moved a
Tell you
couple
what,
more left.
yeah, with these new pins here, 3 pound 9 ounce pins, you often leave the 10 pin with that 4-7, and he just saw it fall over. Well, this match is dead square. Assuming Lavoie gets a strike, we could have our first tiebreaker. 9th and 10th frame roll-offs in the New Mexico Open. We like to give folks a better shot than just one ball. And Lavoie needs the spare to tie the match up. Good cover. Didn't want to risk chopping the 4 off. He stood right in front of it. Hit both pins with the ball. Thank you, Cam Blazek, for your comments, and we appreciate that, and we appreciate Bowling Buddies. We know that's become a popular product in the bowling business, and we wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you next year. Duster doing a Anthony Simonson over there, bowling a backup ball in this second game, and it looks like he's going to survive over there. Andrew Kane drops into the losers bracket over Steve Smith. Finished with a turkey, started with a turkey, and that was about all she wrote there. Lavoie, nice hit. Now that puts Dahmer under pressure. He's dead square. Having said that, Dahmer struck in the 8th. He's coming up to the 9th frame now. This is a heck of a match. This could be a championship match here.
Indeed.
So Dahmer's under pressure to double to take a lead, and he's also under pressure because Lavoie just struck. And leaves the 5 pin. Ooh. Could have been a 5-7. But it wasn't.
Quick update, Clay Reese is going to advance.
Things getting a little tight over there for Brown. He's left the 3-6 or part thereof quite often in this game. He's had no opens, but he's lost 10 pins on count. He's 130 in the 7th. And Dylan Taylor struck in the 8th frame. Gives Taylor a chance to go off the sheet and put him out of business. It'd be a shame for Brown. He's closing frames, but going to get some strikes in there too. I was doing the scores for one game last night when Jeff had to find some printer ink at a local store here in Rio Rancho, and I was putting all the scores down from the first game on the Absolute Fresh for Squad 5. Goodness, I'm looking at 140s and 150s all over the place.
It wasn't pretty.
Scores lower than that, and then all of a sudden I come to Robert Robertson. He shot 255. I thought he'd done an 8-pin no-tap or something. Compared to everything else I was looking at, it was very good, and they made the cut with that, as did many others from Squad 5. Well, this is coming down to the 10th frame here, and Dahmer is going to be first up. They're still fiddling with the second match there. And Dahmer's going to try and put the US Open champion under some pressure. I don't know if that's a good tactic or not, but let's see what happens. Dahmer and Lavoie tied. And that was a very good shot by the less experienced Keith Donner. Bowled here quite a few times all the same, and he has made a number of finals, so he's no slouch when it comes to top level play. Well, another one here makes Lavoie show up and show off. Out the window. Ooh. That could be a telling shot for Donner and Lavoie. Donner pointing to his head there going, oh,
Yeah.
rats.
I was going to say for Donner, I mean, the one thing that maybe he had going for him with Francois was he was going to finish on his right lane where he's been trying to get comfortable in front of his ball return.
Loft. Air. Cold 10-pin. Still close. Donner can make this spare. That makes Lavoie spare and strike to tie. Needs a spare. Oh, that big opening for Lavoie. Got to spare the 10-pin. He's done that. 431. 9 to win, 8 to tie. Would 9 to win for Lavoie. Another 10-pin would be fine. He had an 8 spare after that 4-bagger that gave him a chance even. Let's see what happens here. Very close. Big crowd watching too. Now he's got his left leg right up against the front of the ball return. The right leg's touching it actually. Needs 8. Oh, that's gone. Oh, that's a tie. 224. 431 apiece. Wow. Tell you what, that was a heck of a break to get 8 out of that. That was going to be a 7 count or a 6 count for a million years.
It was either washout or washout or washout. Those are the three.
Yeah. Jeff Hemo, the tournament director, going down to explain what happens now. So that's added a little intrigue to the winners bracket. One of them's going to go on and one's going to advance.
We had to go to the rules last night to make sure we were clear on a tie for 32nd. And then within double elimination bracket play, ties are resolved by 9th and 10th frame roll-off until the tie is broken. Excuse me.
Well, we'll get rid of this first match first, and Robert Marion's going to win that one easily. Michael Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald 139, 180 something. And Marion a clean 203 in the first game. Pretty reliable, Robert Marion.
He bowled round 2, I think squad 2. No, squad 3. He's bowled squad 3, but he started on 7 and 8. And he stood out because he had some slower ball speed, low rev player. Was taking urethane and was very accurate at the gutter. And I think he was around that spot all day long.
So he wins easily 393 to 324. So he stays put in the winner's bracket. Michael Fitzgerald goes down a rung on the ladder. 9th and 10th frame roll off for Jeff Heeman, going to keep score by hand.
Talk about getting it done. Keeping score by hand.
Yeah.
I like it.
I love it. Wish it had never gone away. I used to make quite a few pounds, shillings and pence. I'd score for 10 chain-smoking women in a afternoon league at the centre in Sydney, and they'd give me enough money to bowl Saturday morning junior league. Oh, that's a heck of a start in a tiebreaker. Can opener to kick things off for Keith Dommer. Well, let's have a look at Lavoie. You know, the first person up in a tiebreaker that gets a strike often has the edge for a number of reasons, not the least of which is mental. Lavoie. Right in the hole. Good shot. Strike, strike.
That was super important because he doesn't have to finish on that lane now. He can get comfortable on the left lane.
Yeah, got out of dodge. Having said that, he is next cab off the rank, and he can make Donna show up big time if he can get a double here. Of course, he'd love a turkey. Tiebreakers 60 to 59 are fairly common in big tournaments. Oh, wow. Light mixer. A light mixer. That just raised the hair on the back of Donna's head, I can tell you. Been there and done that. Not often, I'm happy to say. One more here will be interesting. Wonder if he'll make an adjustment off that shot. That was pretty good delivery, good loft. Gave it good air. Tiebreaker in round 2 at the New Mexico Open. Francois Lavoie, the US Open two-time winner. Looking for turkey. Lofted that. Got it. Wow. No wonder he's been in Team Canada on multiple occasions, as well as a highly sought-after player in the PBA Team League. That's good stuff. 30 in the first. If they tie, again, it's 9th and 10th frame till it's all over. No single ball roll-offs in the New Mexico Open. This is vital. Another strike here makes Doma go off the sheet to tie again. Don't want a low count. Loft again, right in the hole. 4-bagger. What a great performance by Francois Lavoie. 60. Doma. Let's see what he's made of here.
Well, you can't do it any better than that, Steve.
No, and he gave it just enough air to give it hitting power at the back end. looking for a strike. Nope, didn't happen. And Lavoie is going to go on. Boy, that was a good pressure. Shots by Frankie Boy. Very, very good.
You can't shake Frankie.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Can't shake him, man. And shot 300 on TV at the U.S. Open.
Well, that adds to the mystique of the New Mexico Open, the U.S. Open champion needing a tiebreaker to survive round 2 and stay in the winner's bracket.
I've already seen more ties in the event, at this event, than I have probably in the last year, 2 years, maybe 3.
Seen more ties here than in a Men's Warehouse store.
Yeah, that's right. In one round, basically, or 2 rounds. We started with the tie, obviously. We had to break the tie this morning with the 30-second spot roll off. And then now we had another roll off.
I've got a story about Men's Warehouse. I went to buy a tie once. I just moved to America. I wanted an impressive tie for my first meeting with my regional manager, Bill Kratzenberg. I was in Fort Worth, Texas. I knew that there was a Men's Warehouse store there near Hewlin Ball, so I went there to buy a tie. I went there to buy a tie. I walked out about an hour and a half later with $678 worth of unnecessary shirts, belts, socks, shorts, underpants, you name it. They sold me the joint. I mean, I was lucky the general manager of the chain wasn't there. I probably would have bought it.
Oh,
you know,
my
it
goodness.
drove me nuts. I got home, I couldn't believe how much money I just dropped on unnecessary clothes.
That was
Thanks, mate. Thank you. Oh, mate.
Boy, Steve has really treated me to just some excellent jokes this week.
Still single game matches. Brown versus Williams on 5, Dustin Robinson on 7, Fitzgerald and Fujimoto on 9, Dominic Jenkins on 11, Kurtz and Phone on 13, Johnson and Mellinger on 13, Keenan Zweig on 15, and Harmon and Coffey on 15. One and done in those matches. We'll be out in just a second.
All right, folks, just waiting on the lanes to come on. More ties than a Men's Warehouse. I mean, that makes complete sense. You know, some people tell jokes and they're funny, but you'd be like, that still kind of doesn't really, like, that one makes complete sense. Of course I'd go to Men's Warehouse to buy a tie. I would not buy $700 worth of stuff, though. That's a no. That's like the equivalent of going to Target Yeah, the joke is don't go to Target. You come out, you know, you're going in for a, you know, some toothpaste or something. Maybe you went in to buy like one lamp, and then you came out with 5 lamps, 3 rugs, a gazebo set, a bocce ball set. Sorry. Look at Jimmy Olsen coming in. I got to add these to my dad joke list. Let me go just one additional camera here. And we'll be right back.
Instead of just resetting the fucking lane. Being a dick. That, what's his name that I bowled stupid with? He was like, yeah, I bowled a match with Stu and I was just kind of watching him all day long. And he didn't shoot a game below 200 and he was F this, F that.
2 minutes, boys, 2 minutes.
Damn. Kurt sucks. Oh shit, RSTX2. It's in the bag. Oh fuck. Whoever drilled that needs to fire.
Just getting season 26 starting up. host you home coming back to this last shot to get back to a full set of business.
Oh my god. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, Stu Williams.
Losers in the losers bracket will be the 17th through 24th this time. No further surfacing until the end of your match. Well then, so far, gentlemen, off you go.
All right, so we've got a pair of losers bracket matches here. The top two seeds, 1 versus 2. The winner will move on. The loser is eliminated. Stu Williams versus Dennis Brown. On 5 and 6, and on 7 and 8, Robert Robinson versus Kyle Duster. And over on 9 and 10, Michael Fitzgerald versus Jason Fujimoto. And then the winners bracket matches on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those feature Billy Ginch versus Clay Reese, Steve Smith versus Cortez Shank, Dylan Taylor versus John McIntyre, Robert Marion versus Francois Lavoie. Those who lose here will finish 17th through 24th. All right, so Duster out here. Early 7 count. Saw Stu Williams make the 2-4-5 and now dealing with the 2-8. Getting elimination matches 1 game. The winners bracket matches are 2 games. At the end of this match, I think we'll have another round of elimination matches. In this area. If not, I'll be turning the camera at least over to 3 and 4. Kyle exclaims there on that spare. We'll take that. Can't have too many opens, certainly in a one-game match. Nice early double for Dwayne Brown. Over on 9 and 10, Fujimoto has gone spare open to start. Good shot there for Robinson. Good shot there, Stu. I'll go through the bracket once again, but if you have some specific questions, if you're just joining us, this is, let's see, this is round 3. Got started at, actually, competition started with practice at 7:15 for the 32nd place roll-off. There was a tie last night for the final spot in the bracket. So Jacob Gill and Steve and Kurtz were here and started their practice for their match at 7:15. Their match started at 7:30. Kurtz went on to win that. And then he went on to defeat Stu Williams in round 1, knocking Stu into the elimination bracket. Williams then defeated Ed Smaglick to advance to this match here with number 2 seed Dwayne Brown. Brown started with a win over Keith Fung, and then he lost to Dylan Taylor, which is why he finds himself in this particular match. 2-4. What did I call him? Did I say Dwayne? I'm sorry. Although Dwayne Mellinger, the defending champion, is still in the building. Sorry, Dennis. We talked about that. Well, not about that particularly, but we were having a good combo yesterday. Good spare there, Dennis. So both players with a loss on record. There's Kyle Duster. And Kyle looks like he has continued to move in. And boy, he's got to find something quick. Let's see, Duster's day began with a win over Dwayne Mellinger, the defending champion. Duster then was defeated by John McIntyre. Robert Robinson had a great start last night on his qualifying block. He lost early to Clay Reeves. He lost in the first round, so he was in the elimination bracket from the beginning. He defeated James Hastings in a previous elimination bracket match. Stu at plus 122. That's what he qualified. 8 games, 17-22. Dennis Brown, the highest qualifying senior at plus 80. Let's see, there were 1, 2, 3 seniors to make the top 32. Dennis Brown, Dwayne Mellinger, and Steve Smith. All three are still competing. Steve Smith is in the winner's bracket. High-ranking woman was Emily Eckhoff. She has been eliminated. Second high was Brandy Silva, just missed the top 32, finishing 37th overall. Good spare. A good 2-8 for Stu. And it's a 2-pin match, although Dennis with the advantage working on a strike. When he gets up, he'll be able to double. Again, 1-game matches in the elimination bracket. 1 game. Again, to everyone in the chat, I appreciate you being astutely aware of my mistake. Thank you. I don't know if Stu is quite yet comfortable with his look. I know Kyle Duster is not, but maybe that will help. First strike comes in the 5th frame. It helped that Robinson opened in the 4th frame. Pins the deficit there for Duster. Good shot, and that 8-pin nearly stood for Dennis. It's a big opportunity for a double here. And Kyle really working, standing at the first set of dots, shuffling those feet until he's set. Hook ball, bang. 2 of his better shots, probably of the entire tournament. Couldn't have come at a better time, and especially in a 1-game match. Speaking of doubles, trying to turn 2 into 3 is Dennis Brown, and that ball read early. Leaves a 3-pin. Thank you, Kyle P, very much. Thanks all of you for watching. When we get to this bracket, certainly highest rated or most viewed so far. Robinson threw a lot of really good shots like that last night. He set the pace early with 255 out of the gates in qualifying squad number 5. Now trying to stay alive here, keep his chances at $10,500 alive. If you just joined us, there was a roll-off between Francois Lavoie and Keith Domer, in which Francois emerged victorious there through all 4, 9th and 10th frame. Keith had started with a strike in the 9th, and then first shot in the 10th frame left an 8 count to lose that. Big double again for Robinson. All right, here's Stu. Whoa. Chance to cut it to 1 there. So Duster with a little bit of momentum. He's thrown 2 really good shots, but he watched his opponent throw 2 good ones as well. Needs it. There it is. Ralph, it is the 2021 Mike Miller special. But essentially, at this event, if you just change the year, but you leave Mike Miller special, that is the name of the pattern. Mike Miller, brother of Dana Miller Mackie, brother-in-law of Steve Mackie, of course, creates the pattern every year. It's been difficult, but some folks certainly have found some success. Big shot there for Duster. I think they're playing slightly different just because we're in a match play setting. Not a lot of players kind of the qualifying side, I should say, is a little different just because of field now as we eliminate bowlers, and there will be a re-oil after the next set of matches. So overall, the field a little higher quality, but you still have players trying to get to their strengths, though, and that's really what's most important. You got to get to your strengths to be able to feel that you can score. And all of a sudden, Kyle Duster is back in this thing. Here's Dennis. Big strike in the 8th frame. He matches Stu. And it's back to an 11-pin advantage. By the way, thanks, Mike, and look forward to hopefully seeing you again in the future. Another match, Jason Fujimoto, boy, he is struggling. 4 consecutive opens, no strikes. Big double. That's a huge shot there now. Dennis Brown cannot be shut out, as Stu is going to finish the match first. Other elimination matches, let's see here. We've got Keith Dahmer versus Kevin Jenkins. Robinson 4-pin in the 9th. Back score for Stu Williams, 236. I need them all to force a mark in the 10th frame. Big double. Possibility of a tie does exist, but it all depends on Stu's 10th frame here. He'll take a re-rack, I believe, or at least is attempting to. There it is. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, Duster, uh-oh, get some help. Ow. Talk about getting lucky. The back-to-back opens from Robinson. And it's not going to matter much now. Kyle Duster is going to be moving on. And Duster is going to face the winner of Stu Williams and Dennis Brown. Asked it to push, it did. One more that will put Stu in the 230s. Now the back six here for Duster. And who said it? As Jimmy said in the chat there, Duster is trying to leave his opponent in the dust, and that is what has transpired. More dad jokes. I like it. Big shot here for Stu. Oh, 7. It won't go. 7 will not go. 225 now the max. So Dennis Brown could step up and go 9 spare strike to win by 1. Of course, if he strikes in the first shot in the 10th, all is well. And that's the best mark he certainly would like. So Stu Williams, the #1 seed, his tournament life is on the line. And now it's all up to Dennis Brown. In bold. And squad 4 yesterday posted a 8-game total of 1680. Very nice game for Kyle Duster because it looked very, very bleak through 4 frames for Duster. Made a move left, got in, found some oil, and did what he had to do. Speaking of doing what you got to do, Dennis Brown strike, and he's moving on to face Kyle Duster in the next elimination match. Dennis. Ooh, okay. Well, week 10. Simply put, 9 spare strike. Dennis Brown will advance. 9 spare 9. We're going to another 9th and 10th frame roll off. Anything less than that, Stu Williams will advance. First things first, you got to make the 10 pin. All right. Looked to be online. Dennis didn't feel quite comfortable. So here it is, folks. The strike for the cheese, as they say, right? This is it. Strike to win, 9 to tie, 8 or lower to lose. Official score 235-175. Kyle Duster defeats Robert Robinson. Oh my. He got 6, threw it out the window, and Stu Williams is going to advance. He hopped out of that one like he thought it was going to be good and quickly saw it was not reading the lane whatsoever. And Dennis gets 6 on the field, and the #1 seed squeaks by. Stu Williams is alive and well. Tina and Brady, I hope you are watching. How about that? All right, so quick look over at 9 and 10. This one is all in the books as well. Final fill shot for Michael Fitzgerald. He is going to, or has defeated, I should say, Jason Fujimoto. Let's go wide angle real quick here to get a little bit of 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, and 4, I should say. Winners bracket matches. Dennis is eliminated, folks. He needed a strike to advance. 9, he would have tied. Anything less than that, he was going to be eliminated. I'm going to just go double check the board real quick. All these other contenders bracket matches. There's 1 pair still ongoing. They had 2 on a pair. Make a quick change. Be right back.
That kid's good.
Yes, yes he is.
I watched him all day yesterday.
I think he was on TRC. You never know which one you're going to get. I don't know which one goes up. Any word back from the fan bam?
Nope. So you're winning. So I guess we're gonna get breakfast. We'll go by somewhere to find green chilies to take home.
Green chili jerky, where do you get that?
You can just find it at a gas station.
Okay.
Which is good. I want to get like a monster. Or we can get Dutch Bros. Wow.
Alright. Say our goodbyes. We're taking one shot each hand of it.
All right, so the elimination matches are just going to continue. So we'll have Keith Dahmer and Michael Fitzgerald for you here. It's a smart move there by Jeff Hemer trying to, his plan, if it worked out, was to get, hopefully have the elimination matches, both rounds complete at the same time that the 2-game winners bracket matches were complete. Everyone would be done about the same time, and then they can re-oil and keep the schedule on point. And I would say so far so good on that. I'm going to check to see if we have a match on 5 and 6 before I make all of these final adjustments. All right, Keith Dahmer and Michael Fitzgerald. 7 and 8. Fitzgerald out to the early advantage here, striking the first frame. And Keith will not be able to match 9-pin here for Keith. I think we'll have some matches down on 15 and 16. I didn't see anything on 5 and 6, but I've been certainly wrong in the past. I'll be able to update you in 1 second as game ones are finishing up in the winners brackets. Okay, looks like Robert Marion is trailing by 57 pins after 1 game. Marion is bowling Francois Lavoie. Again, so it's Lavoie plus 57 after 1 game. Dylan Taylor has a 21-pin lead over John McIntyre after 1 game. And I'll tell you what's happening on 3 and 4 in just a second. To be completely honest, I believe that off the hand, Dennis thought that one was going to be good as well. He motioned like he thought that was going to at least tip and hit the 1-3, and it just kind of kept sailing. So Keith has gone spare open. So Duster and Stu down on 15 and 16. Finishing up matches on 13 and 14. Either there's got to be at least 1 match on 5 and 6, 9 and 10. We'll find out as Fitzgerald remains clean. Okay, so Clay Reese is up, and excuse me. Clay is trailing by 32 pins to Billy Ginch after 1 game, and Cortez Shank in his match against Steve Smith. Shank trailing by 44 pins. So some significant deficits and or leads, whichever way you'd like to look at it, or depends on how your or who your favorite bowler is or who you're rooting for. So a lot of work to do over for both of those, or all of those matches, I should say. Far from over. In fact, Francois just left a 4-9 on lane 1. So we'll have a match on 9 and 10. Here's Keith. I see Matthew Zweig putting his equipment on 9 and 10. I saw Kyle Coffey put his equipment on 9 and 10. So I think we'll have Coffey versus Zweig. And the other match will be Keith Fung versus John Johnson. That's going to happen on 11 and 12. So a match break on 5 and 6 for now. Big double there. First to double
is Keith in this match. Good break there for, good break there for Fitzgerald. Tweed is in front of the ball return on his practice shot. You know, you get to a point in this situation in a bracket or qualifying round, but a bracket where there's a re-oil, and sometimes it's like, well, I don't know if I want to get a re-oil. Like now, I'm confident, I'm comfortable in what I'm doing, especially if you know you had some issues on the fresh. I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you are just joining us, this is essentially round 4 of the double elimination bracket. At the end of this round, and someone's supposed to remind me in the chat, but at the end of this round, I'm going to remember to take a photo of the bracket, and then I'm going to post that photo on the BowlStreamTV Facebook page so you guys can see what all has transpired. Because at the end of this round, good spare by Keith Fung, 4-9 to open up his match. There's going to be a re-oil. So that'll be a perfect break to post that photo. Keith all of a sudden now with 3 in a row. Fitzgerald has remained clean. Stephen Kurtz indeed was defeated by Keith Fung, but I got to give a lot of credit. I mentioned this yesterday a few times, but what Kurtz was able to rebound from a very tough, I forgot which game, but I'll never forget it. Stone 8, 4-9, and then sends the 4 in front of the 9. Oh, you got that, Keith. Don't worry about it. And he rebounded nicely. Did Stephen. Worked his way into a number at -23. That was good enough to tie for 32nd. Walked in here this morning, had a roll-off versus Jacob Gill for that final spot. Won that game, and then won his first match against Stu Williams, knocking Stu into the elimination bracket right off the bat. And Kurtz bowled Billy Ginch. It was the Colorado duo doing work. Billy did defeat Steven at that moment, which knocked Steven, of course, into the elimination bracket where he just was defeated by Keith Fung. Yeah, the fresh is 100% in this scenario, the equalizer. There are definitely some players who are way more comfortable on the burn on this particular pattern than the fresh, and it's easy to tell by some players' scores, even during qualifying, the first half of their block versus the back half. But even in this scenario, we've still seen some players playing right. Some have definitely moved left. In fact, I'd say the majority of the field is playing left now. You saw Kyle Duster, what he did on 7 and 8. To be honest, even Robert Marion, who has thrown urethane almost exclusively around the gutter, he's moved left in his match versus Francois Lavoie. I can't say if Robert threw anything other than urethane. I'm sure he did during his qualifying block, but he started with urethane. Fitzgerald's still clean, but now he's working against a four-backer. Huge shot there. That was a must-have in frame 7. Still alive again in winner's bracket right now. Billy Ginch, Clay Rees, Cortez Schenck, Steve Smith, Dylan Taylor, John McIntyre, Robert Marion, Francois Lavoie. Those matches now, at least on 1 and 2, they are entering the 5th frame. And Francois still with a huge lead over Robert Marion. Dylan Taylor all of a sudden with a 3-bagger. He has the advantage by 21 pins over John McIntyre. Dale Coffey to our right, 9 and 10. That's the match we'll go to next. If you haven't already, subscribe to BowlStreamTV. Encourage you to do that. Keep track of what's upcoming. Oh, this is a tough spare. It was all sorts of tough because of the way the pins were set. The 1, 2, 4, 7 is never easy to begin with. When you got some pins offset, it really eliminates a couple possible ways you can make that spare. So just as Keith not only had gotten back in the game and taken the lead, he is now giving that lead right back to Michael Fitzgerald, who has remained patient despite not yielding a double as of yet. Here's Keith, 8th frame. And a 10-pin. Let's get a quick look at where Zweig is playing. Look where he's set up. The air. Oh boy. That'll be a fun match to go to. Championship will be on, or to say the stepladder finals will be on 7 and 8. Huge break there. Got him taking a run. Oh, roll it. All right, so with this 2-pin in the 9th frame, Spare would give him 165 in the 8th. The best he could do with 3 in the 10th would be 215. Keith can still get to 219. If he throws all 4 from the 9th and 10th frame on. Not mathematically a must-strike situation, but it's a must-strike here for Keith. Jommer, who qualified 6th. Big shot there. See the score. Oh, read it, read it, read it, read it. Oh my gosh. He just gave me a look. It's even funnier when you see the looks when they're, because they're wearing masks. So everything is complete nonverbal communication. This is huge. A strike here, and it'll be just pins away from advancing. Dahmer for it. Bang! Wow, what a shot. The 9th frame. Got a good break. The 7th. Or with the 7 pin, excuse me, falling a first shot on the 10th frame. All right, 7 pins. Uh-oh. And he got exactly what he needed. Kind of similar to what we just saw with Dennis Brown. That one was out the window. The only thing that saved Keith there was his ball speed. If his ball speed was just a little bit higher or firmer, that might have been 6. And we'd have been looking at the possibility of a tie. Instead, it's Keith Dahmer advancing. A lot of people were showing love for Michael Fitzgerald in the chat. So I'll keep it here just so you can see his final shot. And officially, 216 to 190. All right, head over to Zweig and Coffee here. No scoreboard, so I'll give you the radio. All right, so in this one, Zweig, 90 in the 5th, and the 3, 6, 9, 10 now to deal with. Dale Coffey, 1 strike happened in the 2nd. He's on spare, strike, 8 spare, 9 spare, 8 spare. He's got 77 in the 4th, working on spare in the 5th. Right now, it is a 7-pin advantage. Good spare. All right, it's not going to look the prettiest, but going to give you a scoreboard here. All right, there we go. This one just looks like it's going to come down to the 10th frame as well. All right, in our winners bracket matches, just about complete on lanes 1 and 2. Robert Marion is going to lose to Francois Lavoie. So Lavoie is going to continue to advance in the winners bracket. He will face the winner of the Dylan Taylor John McIntyre match that is also happening on 1 and 2. That one is the closer of the two matches. Well, it looks like Dylan's going to take care of business. He had a 21-pin advantage. Yep, he's going to advance just through the first strike in the 10th frame. It's going to be Dylan Taylor versus Francois Lavoie. Moving on in a winner's bracket matchup. McIntyre and Marion will fall into the elimination bracket. On 3 and 4, much closer situation all around. Although Steve Smith has given some pins back here to the field. Oh, I misspoke earlier. It was Cortez Shank who had the advantage. I think the arrow reverse got me. So Shank had the 44-pin lead. And in this one, in game 2, Shank still with a 25-pin lead. He is going to advance in the winner's bracket. Meanwhile, Billy Ginch had a 32-pin advantage. He still got to make some shots, though. So that match with Clay Reese is not yet over. Clay Reese needed that one. He could have gone off the sheet for 235. He just left a weak 10. Meanwhile, Billy spared in the 9th. And that's just a 4-pin difference in the game right now in game 2, which means that Billy is going to advance. And it looks like he's going to face Cortez Schenk in the winner's bracket. All right, close one here. Of course, Coffee threw one in the channel. That looked like a pretty good shot there. 4-7. And he is running out of frames now. Of course, Steve Mackie mentioned earlier in the week, Dale has a pro shop in Colorado called The Coffee Shop, which is just, I mean, you cannot have better branding and marketing right there than a name like that, and also runs a tournament called the Coffee Cup. I got to talk to Dale. I don't know what his musical selections or choices are, but Young Jock made a very dope song called Coffee Shop back in the day. If that's not blaring every time you walk into the coffee shop of Dale's Pro Shop, then we got to have a talk. Looks like he had his family here as well today. So Zui struck in the struck in the 8th, 7-pin here. We've been talking about Cortez Schenk today. I talked about Mason Moore, and we mentioned Matt Zweig after his 135 yesterday in game 2. Bumped left. He was playing the gun. Bumped left. I think he switched to what looked to be an idle and went on to shoot 226, then 241 to kind of pace his comeback. Bowled collegiately, had a really good day at the Masters, a good week. The front of opportunities for perfection. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, my. Oh, my. Bowled collegiately at Arizona State. He and his sister, Leah. Actually, Leah essentially interned for a couple of stops on the PWBA Tour a couple years back with us, helping out with some lighting and whatnot for some interviews, segments, and stepladder shows. Keith Fung just made a key spare in the 10th frame. So Zui gets one. He shoots 176. Now Dale Coffey. Present the Coffee Shop. Kruger, if you're referring to Bobby Campanelli, no, he was eliminated. He needs a double. Speaking of Dale. First one. Read it, read it, read it. No. And Matthew Zweig is going to survive. Hi, Leah. Leah made me look excellent at a stop in, it was actually Tucson. That was one of our, I would say overall we really did well with the segments that we produced that week. I hope everything is going well, Leah. Good spare overall for Dale. So our matches are set in the winner's bracket. I mentioned, I'll go over it one more time. Billy Ginch and Cortez Schenk. Dylan Taylor versus Francois Lavoie. The winners of those matches will advance to essentially what is the #1 seed match. They will bowl each other to determine the top seed in the stepladder finals. So I'm waiting for one announcement from Jeff Hemer. Looks like every match is complete. The oil machine is out. And Nathan Pope, as I mentioned, I'll make sure everyone is here since I'm here. I said I would take a photo or photos of the bracket and post them on the BowlStreamTV Facebook page for everyone to view. It shouldn't take very long. But what we will do also is go ahead and end this stream momentarily. I'll fire up a new one.
Ginch, Schenk, Taylor, and Lavoie are your last 4 undefeated bowlers. They are in good shape, but not guaranteed onto the show just yet. A little more work to do. When we come next, single game elimination matches between Rees and Duster, Smith and Dahmer, McIntyre,
Elimination matches.
and Marion.
Rees and Duster. Clay Rees is still in the building. Kyle Duster still in the building. Keith Dahmer and Steve Smith in an elimination. Keith Fung and John McIntyre in an elimination match. And Robert Marion and Matt Zweig. I think we have that match on 7. Okay, so I'm going to go take some photos. I'm going to shut this one down. I'll be on the lookout. Briefly, we'll restart here in probably half hour. I'm guessing about 30 minutes or so. So I will talk to you then. I'm going to reset some stuff and get you back to it. Yeah, this one's wide open, you know. And don't forget, oh, wait a minute. That means that Stu Williams has been eliminated. Let me run through the folks who have just been eliminated while we have it. So Stu Williams, the top seed, has been eliminated. Michael Fitzgerald has been eliminated. John Johnson has been eliminated. And Dale Coffey has been eliminated. If I had to put some money on something right now, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't know. But all 4 winners right now, man, they've got some very distinct qualities about their games. Obviously, Francois, the most experience of that 4. But he's bowling someone with, I think, with no fear. That's Dylan Taylor, kind of doing his own thing out there. I like it. Billy Ginch right now is the lone lefty who is still undefeated. He might be the only lefty now left in the tournament. Let's see. Marion is right-handed. Zweig is right-handed. Fung is right-handed. McIntyre is right-handed. Dahmer is right-handed. Steve Smith is right-handed. Duster and Rees both right-handed. Billy Ginch is the only lefty remaining in the field, and he's going to face Cortez Schenk. And Cortez, I think, obviously one of the best young players in the sport. Plus 142 in the back 4 last night. He's looked pretty good today. It'll be tough to beat. All right, folks. Michelle, good to see you. Back with y'all in just a few minutes. Hang tight. It's been a presentation of the New Mexico Open. Big thanks to Petrie Buick GMC and Kia, Principal Financial Group, Miller Lite, Shamrock Foods. For Steve Mackie, I'm Emil Williams Jr. I'll see you in about 30 minutes here on BowlStream TV.